One. And we're live. No coughing on the set, please. Thank you. Good morning. How you doing, drummers? Been up early, got my chores done, warmed up a little bit. And what we've been talking about mainly, I've been doing more original material lately, getting back into playing. So I had to kind of redesign some of my playing with my kit. So sometimes I play a big kit, a small kit. Sometimes I'll do a combo kit. And sometimes I'm just doing acapella. So we want to create a rhythm base. And how do we do that? Well, we discuss it, we count it, and then sometimes we just have to actually feel it. And when you feel it, what we're talking about, it's feeling the groove. So how do you feel the groove? It could be the amount of expression between the beat, how much quietness between the next change. That's a feel. Okay, so a lot of times if you play blindfolded and walking in the dark, you know what I'm talking about. So what I'd like to do is get back and express just a couple of key fundamental expressions I do on my drums. And that is what usually gives my signature sound and most of my changes. Most of my changes have a lot of the same structure, but the feel of it is what gives it the difference. So you can hear a lot of the continuity throughout my set, but I'll do a couple of changes. So let me explain how I do that. A lot of times when I start out, a lot of folks I play with, they want the 2 count. Just a ding, ding, go. A lot of times I'll have a whole 8 bars of counting. So there might be a lead in, there might be an intro, there might be just a visual where I'm just looking at someone. It could be my keyboard player, my guitar player, just my sound guy if I'm just doing solos. And a lot of times when it's really nice and quiet on the set, what it is, that'll allow you to feel a little more at home because then you know, hey, not only am I in a live environment, I'm in a true natural environment. So when we get into natural drumming, there might be some noise in the room that could trigger another drum, and it doesn't matter because that gives you your nuance. So a lot of times I'll come in the room and I'll just, or I'll snap a stick. I want to hear exactly what's going on in that room. How much delay is going around the room before I even play anything. You've ever played in a big stadium, a lot of times hitting that first initial note on the snare drum is the biggest chance you'll ever get of how much decay you have around the room to play with. And I explain this to a lot of the better players that are seasoned at playing that don't necessarily deal with live or big rooms. That's the thing when you want to play in a bigger or larger event or outdoors, you're going to have a lot of time and space around you. So you got to learn how to use that as a drummer or a singer to your advantage. And if you're a keyboard player, doing a drum roll through a part with a delay will make it sound like a real guitar, much like drumming with a roll sounds like a riff of a guitar. So now that I've done a lot of talking, because usually I just get on here and drum, but I'm lit on that jump. Yes, I am. Thank you, Folgers. That's some good stuff. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to already. You can hear that. 1, 2. And right at 8 is where the decay stops. So what did I say? A lot of times you will have 3 things going on: space and decay. So what do? Count the decay with 1 flame. I'm going to explain this again. 7, 8. So you heard the decay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how long that was. That gives me a lot of opportunity to adjust. So even if I haven't had a sound check, I already know. I can't hit anything but the snare, and that's all you get. So yeah, that's about 8 seconds right there. What did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. getting used to the amount of decay you have in a room. So even though it may really sound overwhelming to someone with very sensitive ears, or to someone that's never even been in a live room, as a drummer, you have to get used to that. So if you want to use hearing protection or anything, put it in. But if you don't know how much space you have above you or around you, you're not going to really know the distance of your sound and how far it travels. So get used to that, because that actually enhances your playing. It doesn't impede. A lot of people, man, I don't want all that. Well, it's going to make it sound more professional in the end because you got used to playing with it. So a lot of times these older cats, they're not as blasty as they used to be. Well, they're really playing with that area of sound they have. You know, what do we use that area of sound? That's what I like about natural acoustics. So let's try that again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You hear that? And that's with no muting, no muffling. That's wide open. That's just an example of how I judge my distance and delay. And I just wanted to get that point across. So my next thing would be this. How much decay would be on my cymbal? $324. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So you see what we're talking about? Now I can already tell how much decay I have on my right. So when I'm discussing and I'm directing a song with my keyboard player or my guitar players, and I say, man, I'm going to have a redundant stop. And that stop is going to just hang. And she's like, okay, I get what you're saying. So a lot of times how I express something is in that. How much distance between the next change. So now we're just going to do one more thing. A wide open crash, counting. Then we're going to mute the crash, okay? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. You see that? Now watch. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so now we understand the distance. That is the longest decay I have out of all my tones. And a lot of people always wondered why I count things like that. It just helps me judge how fast I can play in a room, how loud I can play in a room, and how common things will sound every time I return it. Sound guys are real good at creating that for the drummers. You get in and it's already situated for you. But if you're doing something on your own, you got to get ready for that, or you got to figure out how to get that prepared in your mind. So once that's done, and you have your confidence built up as a drummer, or someone that has the fear of playing in a big room, or doesn't like a lot of reverb, or you don't like a lot of delay, that's a good way of getting used to. A lot of people want to mute the hell out of their drums. A lot of times when I'm doing private instructing, that's what you have to do. You have to deal with some other stuff. But when I play, I like my stuff wide open like that. So what we'll do tomorrow morning, I'm going to give you another example that's really cool. You're like, wow, that was simple. I understand how he's doing stuff now. I'm actually going to be explaining parts to a lot of my songs that are on my list now. And I always like to start out how I might approach something, and that is through space, sound, feel. So once you get the feel of what you're doing like that, it doesn't matter if you can see what you're doing or not, as long as you can hear it, feel it. And a lot of times playing live, you're going to want to wear sunglasses or a hat because you might be staring right into a gobo or a spotlight or right into the sun. Or you might have someone looking at you just saying, man, that dude sucks. I'm way better than him. And those are the things that are going to keep that poker face. So all the time, you're always going to look like, man, what is going on out there? Well, how do I overcome all these adversities? Well, I tested myself. I used eye protection. I wore my hand gloves. And in the end, I came out of there smoking guns. So that's what I wanted to tell you. That's exactly what we're doing over here is we're explaining how I approach all my different techniques. Have a good one, drum on. Hit me up if you need anything, David Seymour 24 at gmail.com.